Hello, welcome. This is Time Played 3HR. My name is Louis.
Hello, I'm Lochie.
And today, Lochie, we are talking about Super Mario Odyssey, the latest and greatest Mario game.
Yeah,
How do you feel about
time. I'm ready. I suggested it. So
did.
It's clearly coming from a good place within me.
Of course.
And obviously I think for everyone else who's played it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Should we do it?
Yeah.
Cool.
I got three more
Lochie,
Yo,
the podcast has started once again.
again, we're back. Who'd have thought we're like 28 episodes in?
It's insane.
It is insane. We're hitting up Mario.
That's almost as many episodes as we have listeners.
That's a nice way of putting it.
Is it?
I mean, it shows that we're actually... The thing is, maybe not, because that can scale to any amounts, obviously, if you have one listener at one episode. And hey, though, dude, if we keep up at this rate,
Yeah.
the only way it's only going up.
You
know what I mean?
I mean, we've had some pretty insane episodes, and then the rest, very middling.
Well, you're saying, I mean...
Insane for us.
Sure. But I don't care about... You can't care about, like, listeners at this stage.
No, sure.
There's just no gain from it.
Sure, it's
I'm on a
depleted,
V.
yeah. It's too sad, basically, is what you're saying.
In a way.
Yeah,
But also just, like...
too heartbreaking.
No, not even. Like, we just don't...
No?
We haven't done anything to get these listeners other than put out content for, like, 3 months, 4 months.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I think I've told 3 people I make this podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas
Yeah.
all my friends were, like, mugging me off yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because they're like, what do you do yesterday? And I'm like, I rendered 2 podcast videos, uploaded one. They don't really. It's all good.
Okay.
It's gooch. Comes from a loving place.
I'm sure that's what friends are for.
And yeah.
Lucky,
What up?
we're going to talk about Mario.
Waha.
You very much wanted to talk about this. I was resistant, and I'm still slightly resistant, you should know, because as much as I like this video game, Super Mario Odyssey by Nintendo of Japan, I don't feel like I really have much insight or really anything of interest to say about a Mario video game.
And so if I were to paint a picture, it was something that sort of went like this, where it was like, oh, I'm finally playing this game. It's great. Lou, let's talk about this game. And you're like, I got nothing.
Yeah.
That's what it was. And so we did Bound instead. And to be fair, we talked about it for a while.
We talk about Bound.
I mean, we're 4 minutes in. We haven't even touched the subject yet, so maybe we are just delaying it.
I think maybe a little bit we're filling maybe a slight amount of time.
I'm going to start off just by saying it's great.
Uh-huh.
It's great, and the fact that Nintendo could just slam out the door with an incredible Zelda and incredible Mario for their new platform is just nuts.
Yeah, it is crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, it is crazy that in the same year, like one of the best Zeldas and one of the best Marios came out. Especially because like both of those series have maybe been a little maybe not so much Mario, but just a little bit like floaty the last couple years.
Yeah.
Last few entries have been like slightly less excitable. I feel like people have been less interested in Mario post Galaxy, and then Zelda. I think the last one that was universally loved was like
Wind Waker?
Yeah, I guess Wind Waker, but even Wind Waker has like a lot of people feel like has a lot of issues. So like I think it's been a long time really since Zelda has just unanimously been loved by everyone, because they always do different things and sort of come at it from a different direction.
And I think Zelda games are so different that a lot of people just love all of them. I think I love 2 of them. You like a few more. A lot of them I don't like very much. But Mario, I think's never missed
You don't think Mario's never? You think Mario's always fantastic?
on the 3D platformers. I would say so. Not that I've played Sunshine, other than like for a little bit.
Okay, so Sunshine. I played a lot of Sunshine on the GameCube, and I loved it. But going back to it, I haven't played it recently, but I actually watched someone else play a bit of it recently, funnily enough. And that game looks really rough in a lot of spaces. Like the camera stuff looks really bad. It looks like Nintendo really struggled with some of the sort of constraints of like 3D platformers and like depth perception and all that stuff. So Sunshine is a little bit of a sore spot, I think, for the 3D version of Mario. But I think you're right that most, or if not all, of the 3D platformers generally considered fantastic.
Fantastic. And so we'll take that to say the premises of Odyssey is the same old your Mario, Peach has been stolen by Bowser.
Yes, which is a bummer.
Always.
Yeah.
And you team up with a little hat spirit that embodies hats, and you use this hat to get around, and this hat allows for some insane movement that just feels so good.
Yes.
And I think that's like the biggest thing about this game is just how unbelievable movement feels.
Yeah. I guess that's always true of the 3D Marios, is that they seem to spend most of their time giving Mario just like a really complex, interesting, expressive sort of tool set to move around the space. And one that you can sort of play at a really low level, and then like over time just get better and better and better at sort of contorting and manipulating into like these big chains of like ridiculous moves.
And it really starts to flow super nice. Like you start out and you realize like you do a practice jump and you're like, oh, I mean, okay, that's kind of interesting. I can use that maybe in like a certain situation. And then you realize, oh, hang on, I can do that into that. And then you'll like stretch it out and you'll struggle with it. But it's the sort of thing which is difficult for a very small amount of time and then becomes very doable.
Yeah.
And you just have like a lot of control over this guy, and it's super fun movement, which I think is just the most important thing. Not at all, actually, I take it back. But one thing that will always draw me to a game is really fun, smooth, and I think quick movement always helps. When you can move quickly and it feels good.
Yeah, for sure.
Always. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, there's like a sort of a move list in the start menu that shows you all the different moves that Mario can do, and it basically shows you every single one from the start. And I remember like booting that up on the first level and like looking through them, and then just like, oh, I've never seen Mario do that move before or that move. I'll try that out. And doing it and thinking, oh, I'll probably never use this. Maybe it's too much to remember right now. And then like halfway through the game, I'm like doing all of these things all of the time, to get to these like ridiculous spots that I didn't even know I needed to get to.
In this movie,
that stuff's really satisfying.
And also, you don't for pretty much everything that I've experienced, you don't ever really have to know how to do these things. There is always like a simple version of the jump 99% of the time. However, it feels so good. Like the amount you're able to skip in this game just through jumping.
Yeah, it's cool.
Is great. So that like they'll be in the most basic form, and it's got like a lot of kind of subtle things. So the biggest one is when you throw your hat and hold the jump button and hold the throw hat button, and it just hovers in the air. And then when you go on that, you jump off that. But also, when you do that, like, it throws you in that direction when you do it. So it allows you to re-angle jumps. So nice. So you can just, like, hop around corners you wouldn't be able to. And do that and then do, like, a long leap. I mean, you know this, but for...
Yeah, sure.
Explaining things.
Yeah, it's cool. It feels like Nintendo hired a bunch of new people recently, because like both Zelda and Mario clearly have like a very deep understanding but also admiration for the games that came before them. There's a lot of references and just general love for the previous games, but they also interested in taking those ideas and then manipulating them. And the biggest similarity between those two games is the sense of exploration.
Oh,
They both do
humongous.
they
But
both do these sort of quiet little surprises.
I think in Zelda, 100 times more so, because I think that's always been in, and I say always, I'm like, it was massively as equally a part almost in like 64,
Sure.
in Super Mario 64.
Yeah. But I really like that sort of mentality of, as you were saying, with like you can like skip certain parts or do these things, and you sort of do it as a player. You're doing it, and you're like, I wonder if I can do this. I wonder if this is possible. And then you do it, and you pull it off, and the game goes, I'm glad you tried that, and it rewards you for it. You know, like it's not just like you kind of don't come away from it feeling like you broke something. You
No.
come away from it feeling like you engaged with it on another level, and it respected that sort of engagement. And it was
Yeah.
like, congratulations, you did something that most people probably aren't going to do. Well done. And it's
I'm with you there.
and
even,
that feels really good. And both those games do it really, really well.
definitely. And even if they don't like reward you with a moon so again, you collect moons to progress through the game, and they're hidden absolutely everywhere. Even if it doesn't reward you with a moon, it generally will lead to one, or even if you don't feel like, oh, I'm breaking the game, you still think, like, I shouldn't have been able to do that, in the way that you look at this and it wouldn't be the way you think. That was so unclear, but but
I mean, even if they don't put a moon there, I find they might like even just like put some coins there, and coins are basically worthless.
That's true.
But it's just the acknowledgement that they know that you might go there.
yeah, and they're
is
like they're
satisfying.
invisible coins as well, which is even more beautifully like nuanced.
Yeah,
Because you try and
That's what I'm
get
thinking
there,
of.
you don't see a reward there, but when you do get there, the coins will appear, and you go, okay, so it's nice that they recognise I might be able to get here.
Yeah, that's like such a nice feeling to have that little dialogue.
The coins are useless, so you're totally right. The value system sort of lasts for the first level, where there's shops in here, and it's the first Mario game where it's actually a spendable currency.
Yeah, you can actually spend coins.
Yeah, which, hey, makes sense. But it's only ever the first one where you're saving up for anything. The very, very first level. After that, you just have ample coins to buy everything.
Have you beaten the game?
No, so I'm sure.
Yeah, so the coins get useful.
Okay, cool. I'm really happy to hear that. Should I tell you? Because you've finished this game.
Well, I've seen credits roll, but then the game has another half to it after, basically.
Okay, this is okay. Sorry, yeah.
So I've collected a little over 500 moons, 500 of the 900 moons.
Wow.
And once you get over 500, I think is when it unlocks its final level, unless there's some like super secret hidden thing, which I wouldn't
Wouldn't
what
put
am I-
past them.
Yes, that's what I mean. Yeah. And I did want to talk a little bit of that without going into like too much spoilery territory. I won't spoil anything for you, I promise. But I found when I was playing through Mario before I had seen the credits roll, and I was like getting some of the moons. I was getting quite a few of the moons on my way around, but not everything because I knew I'd have to come back eventually. I was thinking, yeah, I love this game so much. I'll probably come back and get all of these moons. This is going to be one of those games. I finally have the game where I'll feel the urge to completely get everything. I finally found the one. And I saw the credits roll and I was like, right, let's get to it. First world, here I come. I'll restart this whole cycle again. I did 95% of the first world. There were like 2 moons that I couldn't quite find. I was like, you know what? I'll come back. I'll come back to those. I'll do another pass. Second world, I get maybe 90%. I'll get those last 10. Third world, I get maybe 70% of the moons. I'm like, yeah. I'll come back. And then I think I'm now on the fourth world, and I'm just like, I just can't be bothered to collect these damn moons.
It's too much.
And then once you get 500, you unlock the sort of very hard level, and Super Mario Odyssey is probably one of the easiest Mario games I've played,
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
which is no bad thing in my opinion.
I'd like somewhat, especially in the bosses, I'd like more boss difficulty
Yes, so
and variation.
so there's a couple of harder bits
Maybe not.
once you get past credits, and I have basically disliked almost all of it, especially this like hard level now, which I think means I'm gonna stop playing this video game. It's not like crushingly hard, but it's very long and it doesn't have any checkpoints, which is what makes it hard. And for me, that is always just like a stopping point when something's not too challenging, but there is one part of it that's hard, which means I just have to do the
And when you
whole
fuck
thing
up.
over again.
I was, for the first time, like, annoyed with this game yesterday.
Yeah.
And I think one of the worst things that can happen is when you see the moon in your head, but you can't achieve the moon.
Okay.
Right. So I've basically the way I've been playing this game is level by level. I'll try and like complete it,
Yeah.
but I know I'm not going to fully 100% it. But I'll run around and like try and look over the whole map, and because there's just everywhere over every map, you just keep finding things to do, and then when I've run out of things I can think of what to do or where a moon could possibly be, I'll be like, okay, all good, or I'll try and hit like 50 moons in the bigger levels or like 30 in the smaller.
Yeah, I think that's basically how I played it.
Yeah, and I'm just finishing up the food one. What's it called? Luncheon.
Luncheon.
Yeah, lunch
Luncheon
something.
Kingdom. Or something.
Kind of dumb. Everything's made of food. Some really nice things in it though. And anyway, it's one where you take over a little flame guy because you can use your hat to throw on certain enemies and become that enemy. Again, context for the people. And jump through lava, and then there were the tomatoes.
Yes.
That you had to hit with your hat, and then they melt into lava, so you can hop from tomato.
There's like no point explaining the context because it's just complete nonsense. Like there's no way anyone can understand what you mean.
You're right.
You become a fireball to melt a tomato, which you can then jump out of its goo. It's just like nonsense.
So anyway, what you have to do is you have to do a long series of jumps in a certain way, and then there's one final jump you have to make, and it's basically from a lava into a big cooking pot. And it's really hard at first, before you get used to it, to do that series of jumps and get to that final jump. And when you do, you feel so good, and you're like, one more jump, and then I fucked up that final jump about 3 times, and it just drove me insane. And it turns out you have to do like a sprint run up into the jump.
Yeah, I seem to recall if you hold down Y or whatever.
Oh, it killed
helps.
me. It killed me. And I think the other hard thing in this game is some of the platforming like instances where you go through and it's like a separate world zone. Some of those have been hard. I'm kind of stuck on one now.
Yeah, so those are like slightly more challenging. Those are like more like galaxy kind of style. Like there's no like context for this world. They're just kind of floating platforms.
Yeah.
Which is I really like that stuff, and I think that level of difficulty is good. I think once you get past credits and you get some of these extra worlds, I found it to just be like too much at times for me personally, and I think that's just my preference of like difficulty, and it's probably why I've enjoyed this Mario the most, is that it's definitely the easiest one I've played.
Right.
And its focus is not so much on like extreme platforming. It's really just like a collectathon. Like, to be reductive, it's just about like picking things up and little jingly noises going on. And that is perfect for Mario because Mario's movement is excellent. So you get to just run around as Mario for hours. Yeah, so I do feel a little bit sour on it now, after playing the harder stuff, but it's
Okay.
not like I have to do it or anything.
And I mean, and I guess in a way it's nice because you got to play through the whole game and loved it, but at the same time it has end game content for people who
Yeah,
are better and want a little bit more.
people that want more of a challenge, that's what they get, and they have done that in
'Cause
the
it-
last Mario games. They always have like, this is a harder level now, but
Mm.
I think it just feels like specifically harder, like in a way that I don't think I'd experienced before in a Mario game, where it's like a very different change of pace.
Did you play 64?
I played it recently actually on Wii U.
Oh,
Some of it.
fun. Yeah, I played it on Wii.
Hmm.
I had a great time.
Did you beat it, right?
Yeah.
I imagine that game's quite tough
Yeah.
at later points.
A lot of, and it. Also, I think it was at like I was at an age where it was very exciting because I recently-ish got my Wii.
Mm-hmm.
I was probably 13, 14, bought it on a whim, and started playing it and really enjoyed it. And I think what really hooked me then, and again in this game, which we sort of touched on already, but is like the mystery in these games.
Yeah.
There's a real sense of you don't know what's going to happen, and you're going to find things that you were never expecting to find.
Yeah.
Which right there gets me.
I kind of wish.
hear that?
Yeah, I can. We can all hear it. I kind of wish you'd finished Odyssey, just because there's some stuff I definitely like to talk to you about. But
Whoa, two-parter.
well, we can just like fill up some space on another episode,
let's
I
not
guess
do
maybe. One thing I felt is that while this game looks nice, I would say the art direction is really strange.
It is. That's
The art direction is really weird.
How did you have nothing to say about this game?
What do you mean?
There's so much to talk about.
I guess so, yeah.
A great point you've just brought up. Please, please take it away.
Well, I feel like you maybe can like describe this a little better than I can, but like for me, it's this weird blend of like realistic like textures,
Yeah.
and
Mainly
then
in the animals.
and then Mario, like just like it's you know what it looks like. There are parts of this game that look like. Have you ever seen those sort of like Unreal Engine, like people make like fake Zelda? They make like Ocarina of Time in Unreal Engine 4, and they use like insane lighting shaders and stuff.
Yeah.
And they have these like crazy like grass physics, but then
Yeah, yeah.
in the center they just have this like Zelda model that's from
From the base game.
yeah, and it just looks like so jarring. Whereas like, why is there all this like realistic stuff mashed with It just looks very amateurish. And parts, not all this game. Some of it looks great. Some of the worlds look great, but then some worlds are just like bizarre looking, sort of very realistic like looking textures and sharp edges, and just such an odd blend.
Yeah, and I agree. I think it's super hit and miss.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I think one of the nicest ones is the Sand Kingdom. I'm
Yeah,
not sure
for
what,
sure.
what that place is actually called, but the sand it has like a photorealistic quality, and the lighting's amazing, and just running over that looks incredible. And the ice in this game looks unreal. Looking through it looks great.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think maybe it's more so in the environment where it works, and because Mario, he's super cartoony. You know, he's Mario, pudgy little bloopy guy. But I think where the texture stuff becomes weirdest is in the animals, because there's a lot of real life animals put in these worlds, and I think it's most jarring at the start in with the T-Rex.
Yeah, the T-Rex is fucking weird.
The T-Rex doesn't look good.
The T-Rex looks, yeah, actually that world is a good example, and it's
Yeah,
similar
I
to
agree.
a world that comes up later, which I won't spoil for you, that's also like covered in grass.
Is
And there's
it
something about
Mushroom
that-
Kingdom?
Yeah.
Yeah, I literally just went there through a photograph,
Yeah, so
and I can't wait to get there.
yeah, so that's a great moment, and that's one of the things I wanted to talk to you about. But we could talk about another time. But
Yeah.
that the grass texture they use for that place it's like it looks like they took like a PS2. It's got that Japanese quality of like PS2 Japanese, like this is a very realistic image of grass, and then we've taken that image and then stenciled it 3,000 million times, one after the other. There's something about it that's like, I feel like the Western side of game developer didn't do as much, but the Japanese have always done, where it's just like very flat and repetitive, and
Okay.
it has that. And Mario's never really done that before. And yeah, that world you were talking about with the dinosaur is similar, where
Yeah,
it's
I agree.
very jarring.
And also, you very, very, very briefly visit this Hat Kingdom at the start. There's sort of like an introduction level,
Yeah, I know what you're gonna say.
and it's useless. Like the whole thing's just shit.
Yeah.
It's not worth going there. And then you go on straight to the second world, which is the one you talk about, which features the T-Rex and this not as convincing art style. But that said, there's like a machiney woodland kingdom that comes later that I thought worked great.
Yeah, that place looks good.
So I'm not quite sure how to differentiate them. But,
Actually, you didn't say what I thought you were gonna say. I thought you were gonna say that the hat place was just literally like a Tim Burton movie.
Oh yeah,
It's just like the music as well was just it was basically just a Danny Elfman track. It was like being in Nightmare Before Christmas.
right.
The music is like doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. It's just like, okay.
We get it.
Yeah, it was very strange.
Yeah, and it really doesn't hit well. And then you go to the second place with this dumb T-Rex, and it really doesn't hit very well.
Yeah.
And that's maybe the first, I don't know, hour. And I was coming off that being like, maybe I'm just not gonna like this game.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just not, maybe this just goes against everything. But right now I'm not feeling it. And then you get to that third Sand Kingdom, and you're like, woo, let's go.
Well,
it just opens up and becomes amazing. So fun.
I was surprised by how much I loved New Donk City.
It's unbelievably done. And
New Donk City is maybe like one of the best Mario levels of all time.
one of the best levels ever
It's pretty extraordinary.
in any video game that I can think of.
When it's funny because that definitely has like a weird realism versus cartoonism problem, because it's supposed to look like the sort of miniature version of New York, and it has like real life humans next to Pudgy Mario and taxis and all the things you think about when you think about New York. So it's a little jarring in that sense, but also just like the level design is just like crazy and exciting, and there's just stuff around every single little corner.
So great. And it goes against everything I was mentioning to you last week off podcast, or maybe on podcast, I can't remember, but I was talking about how I adored the open, flat nature of the Sand Kingdom. And then there are a few later where verticality, and I guess earlier on as well with that dinosaur one, where it just really didn't excite me nearly as much. And then you get to New Donk City, and there's so much verticality, but of course, because it's all skyscrapers, and there has to be, but it just feels unreal, and exploring it felt great.
But I think the difference between like New Donk City and that dinosaur one is that while there is verticality in the dinosaur one, it's all very linear, It's like, if you think about it, I can very easily trace my steps from the start to the end of that level.
Yeah.
Whereas in New Donk City, you come in and there's just like it's just a gridded system of streets. Like there isn't any specific way you should go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. And so everyone, when they first see this, sees the humans in New Donk City. Like that was a big part of the trailer, the introduction trailer to this game. And then there's even like a middle step with Mayor Pauline.
Yep.
Who's kind of not quite Mario, not quite human.
Well, so that's based on Pauline was the character that Donkey Kong stole in the original Donkey Kong game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's the woman in the red dress, I'm pretty sure.
Hence
she has
why
brown
there's
hair.
like the Donkey Kong reference in that
Yeah.
level.
Yeah, I guess
That
so.
can we talk about that as well? That was arguably the most fun I had in this game.
Which bit was that?
The festival.
Yeah, yeah. People seem to love that moment.
You know.
Yeah, it was fine. It didn't grab me, I think, as like other people did.
It's just the music, the lights, the platforming.
I think it might be something to do with the fact that that song kind of annoys the hell out of me.
I love this song,
Yeah,
so that would be 100% the reason.
yeah.
Um,
I tend to dislike lyrics that are just like a lot of like verbs. Just
I'm
like
not with you.
do
What do
the
you mean?
thing and do the thing and do it. And it's just like, oh no, I don't want to do that.
I loved it. I thought it
Yeah.
was so fun. So fun. Yeah, man. And also, I love how they have like weather phases in these games, which really do switch up the game. So basically, you'll first be brought to a place, and there'll be like a minor objective on maybe halfway through the map, and you have to get there, and then you beat that, and then it resets to its full like natural full level. And a lot of the time, in the different sections, they'll do one with like a different level. Weather pattern. So when you first get to New Donk City, thunder, lightning, rainstorms, and that place looks grim.
Yeah, it does.
Same thing when I got there. I'm like, okay, shit, maybe this won't be great because this place is actually miserable.
Yeah.
And then you get there, the sunshine comes out once it like resets, and you beat the first mini boss. And the music kicks in when you arrive. Oh, it's good. Some good shit.
I really was annoyed at the tanks.
Why?
I don't want to play a tank in a Mario game. Like, I don't want to shoot things in a Mario game.
It's a human thing, though. It's in New Donk City, made by the people, made by America.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's not so much the context that annoys me. It's more just like I don't want to be a tank.
But it was like a tank creature as well. It wasn't even like a real tank.
Again,
What's
it's
your
not, it's not the context.
what's what's your opinion on taking over a human?
You only do it like once.
Yeah, you only do it once.
I was disappointed that it was just this.
you did it twice.
I can't remember what the second one is.
This isn't in the same context, but just
Oh yeah,
slightly to the.
yeah.
Left or right?
I got flashbacks of playing it inside. Spooky.
Spooky.
Yeah, it's a good game.
It's a great game.
I would like to play something else on my Switch now, though.
Yeah, and this is the problem. What next? Now
There's a
that
lot of like indie stuff coming out that I'm excited about.
I'm gonna try and hit maybe the Zelda expansion pack.
Yeah, when does that come out?
Once I finish Mario. Well, there's the one out now which has like a little bit, and then the new one comes out. I want to say like December 17th, but I'm probably way off.
Oh, does that mean you beat Zelda?
Yeah.
Because I remember you talking about you were going to very soon.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
I would like to talk to you about the ending of that game, briefly.
Now? Not
Sure.
now. We're 34 minutes in.
I mean, we've done like 50-minute episodes before.
True.
What
On
do
to
you
Boy, The Binding of Isaac.
Give me one word to describe your final 2 hours of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
One word, or
Yeah.
can it be like a hyphenated 2-worder? No, I'll go with one word. One word.
Alright.
I'm gonna say. I want to say like closing.
Closing.
Yeah. In a way,
You felt it satisfactory.
I did, and I think I had a friend who didn't. But I think maybe because I spent so much time, and I don't know how you spent. You spent loads of time on that game.
Yeah.
But I spent like 100 hours before I went to go be that final boss,
Yeah, I think I was around the same.
and it was so easy.
Yeah.
Because it gets to a point where you just have all the best gear in the game. essentially.
Yeah.
And you go in and it's just easy.
Yeah.
But I thought, and also, because you said last 2 hours, maybe even plus that a little bit, last 3 hours, last 4 hours, scaling, it was the first time I properly scaled Hyrule Castle.
Yeah.
I very much, other than to find the memory, because you know how there's one memory up in the castle. Other than that, and I never realised there was an inside as well. Crawling through the inside gradually, I thought was all very, very, very exciting.
Yeah, I thought the actual navigating of the castle was really cool.
Yeah, it was great.
The music, like, it starts
Yeah,
playing some, like, Zelda music, I think. And,
Oh,
like,
it does. And
which is basically the first time in the entire game that it starts playing some classic music, which is really great. It's like the mini map looks so rad. The sort of like what do you call it? Like,
it's just like a 3D
wireframe.
modeled map. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a wireframe of the map, and it like rotates as you walk inside it and stuff.
Which
that
I've never seen like anything.
Yeah,
I don't think so, at least.
That whole bit was great. I found like the Ganon boss fight incredibly disappointing, and felt really, really flat to me. It just felt like, one, it by that point was very easy, which is fine. But it just kind of happened, you know, like there wasn't.
Yeah, you know what? I wanted to interact with Ganon.
Yeah, I wanted.
You want to see him in his human form and get some narratives where there's some satisfaction, rather than it's just like. It seemed more like a hunt than a fight.
Yeah, it felt like
where there was just a massive creature.
It
rather
felt
than any
like
interaction.
they went for classic Zelda idea of what Ganon was, less like Ocarina of Time idea of what Ganon was, where like they finally in Ocarina of Time they made Ganon like a real human.
Oh, was he not before?
Well, he was just like a pig man. He was just a big scary pig man.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's just a big scary pig man.
I just haven't played any of those.
And
I don't intend to.
And then in like Ocarina of Time, he's like more humanoid, and he like talks and has motivation and stuff. And in this one, he's just like a weird scorpion thing that then turns into a large pig. And it just feels, and it also sort of abandoned a lot of what made the actual main game good, which was like the creativity and like the randomness of everything of the encounters, and made it very sort of structured, very much like classic 3D.
I think you need something like that though for a final boss.
Yeah.
What disappointed me is that so when you get to the final phase, one which is just way too easy and way too set, you don't die. It's more just like a cutscene that you play.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, but you get a bow. You get the bow of light. And it handles unlike every other bow in the game, because every bow in the game, and you get used to it and it feels really good as well, you draw back and the arrows dip significantly. With this one, they don't at all. They're just, funny enough, straight as an arrow. And that shit sucks, because you get there and you're like riding a horse, and I'm like arching way above, and just everyone's zipping way above, but I can't even see them hardly, like disappear off into the distance.
Yeah.
So I'm like, and I had my niece was there with me watching me like beat it, and I'm like, I'm gonna hit it soon.
Yeah.
Two fun games though.
I think in the end, like it doesn't, like the ending doesn't really matter too much. Change my opinion of the game, but I was a little disappointed with it as a whole.
I mean, I could have used some more, and maybe people would disagree with me, but like in Mario as well, some more narrative. Just a little bit of narrative.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think Mario needs a strong narrative. I think it just needs to stop doing the save the princess thing.
Yeah, or at least like you don't even see the princess being stolen. It's literally she's already been stolen. Bowser's fully dressed up in wedding gear, ready to marry her, and then you just chase her the whole time, like in the distance, and there's very little interaction with that. I want a little bit of evidence of he's been in that world rather than just footprints. You know,
Yeah,
they'll be like, oh, look at those big footprints that whales are left. But I want it to be, I want to see him, like, destroy a building or still be there and just get away before I beat him. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I don't mind the brevity of it just because the narrative itself is such a weak, boring story. So I'm happy for it to just kind of go away and leave me alone. But also, yeah, I would just appreciate if, I mean, not only did they kidnap the princess, but they felt they had to give motivation to the cap as well. So
Yeah.
his girlfriend gets kidnapped as well, and she's a tiara, and it's just like, what is that really? Do we really need to do that? Can we just do anything else?
Oh, I didn't mind that. I was fine with that.
It's just boring.
Anyway, there you go. 40 minutes
There you
for
go,
a game
man.
we had nothing to talk about.
There you go, we did it.
Good stuff, my friend.
Next week, Lochie,
Yeah, wow.
we got
Are
a
you
big,
in for a treat?
we got a big week
But-
coming up.
Or I'm going to say, are you in for a treat?
Me.
No, I was for, like, you know, listeners / general. But in fact, we in for a treat.
And actually, we should probably decide what the episode's going to be next week. If it's going to be one of the games we talked about, the other games we talked about, or the experience around the two games that we're going
I
to
think
talk
it
about.
should be Overwatch and the experience.
Should we tell them what the experience is now?
You do it. You do it.
Okay, so tomorrow is a Saturday. I am going to greet my good friend Lochie in Kingston in Surrey. We are going to frequent a game store, but not just any game store. We are going to finally belong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what that is, hold on, because you'll
Hold
find
on.
out next week.
Finally, we are going
Yeah.
to belong.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. I mean, if
Right.
they have space, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
All right, so Overwatch and Belong next week. Next
great,
Sunday.
great. Should be an
Yeah.
interesting one.
Yeah.
Peace,
See you then.
peace.
Oh.